Ellis Island, The Dream of America, is a 45-minute work for actors and orchestra and projected images, and it was composed between the years of 2001 and 2002, so we are now amazingly coming up on its 20th anniversary. The texts for the piece come from the Ellis Island Oral History Project, which is a collection of first-person interviews with actual Ellis Island immigrants. I chose the stories of 7 different immigrants who came from 7 different countries between the years of 1910 and 1940.
I was dreaming to come to America. We had 2 uncles. They came here when they were young men. And right after the World War I, they wrote and asked us if we want to come to America.
But they couldn't send for the whole family. They just sent for 3 of us, my father and I and my younger brother.
I conducted the premiere of Ellis Island with the Hartford Symphony Orchestra at the Bushnell Center for the Performing Arts, which commissioned the work, on April 9th, 2002, 20 years ago. For the recording of Ellis Island, I conducted sessions with the great Philharmonia Orchestra at London's Air Studios in early 2003. Later that year, I worked with director Martin Charnin to record actors' voiceovers in New York City with a wonderful cast of actors that included Olympia Dukakis, Eli Wallach, Bebe Neuwirth, and Barry Bostwick. In 2005, Naxos Records released Ellis Island in its American Classics Series, and I was delighted and honored that the recording went on to receive a Grammy nomination for Best Classical Contemporary Composition. The piece has been performed in some wonderful venues, including New York's Carnegie Hall, Chicago's Orchestra Hall, Pittsburgh's Heinz Hall, Fort Worth's Bass Hall, and Costa Mesa's Segerstrom Hall, along with Prospect Park in Brooklyn. The piece is coming up on 250 performances. It's been performed by more than 100 different orchestras around the United States at all budget sizes, from major orchestras to regional orchestras to small professional college and community orchestras. Literally thousands of orchestral musicians across all of these orchestras and many hundreds of actors have participated in the piece. This is a great gift. Without a doubt, one of the most thrilling and gratifying aspects of the entire history of Ellis Island over the last 20 years, and in fact of my entire career as a composer, was the production of Ellis Island for PBS's Great Performances. This was filmed with Pacific Symphony, conductor Carl St. Clair, and a marvelous cast of actors at Segerstrom Concert Hall in Costa Mesa. Those national telecasts were carried by some 300 PBS stations. It really was a dream come true to have the work reach such an audience in such a profoundly moving production.
It's the only country where you're not a stranger, because we're all strangers. It's only a matter of time who got here first.
So as I reflect on 20 years of my life with Ellis Island, I think to myself, why has the piece endured in the way that it has? And the answer certainly has to be that the stories which are celebrated in the piece are so universal. And it's the combination of the stories and the music that hopefully is something greater than the sum of its parts. And as I think about the many performances of the piece which I've attended around the country, how meaningful it's been to me to have so many people come up to me emotionally after a performance of the piece and to say, that was my father's story, or that was my grandmother's story, that was my family's story. And there's something so universal about these stories that I think speaks to us in a very fundamental way. I knew from the very beginning that I wanted to conclude the piece with a reading of the poem The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus. Those words were written nearly 140 years ago when the world was a different world from the way it is today. But something about those words remains absolutely as relevant as they were when they were written. And I think this is part of what speaks to the truth of these stories and this human journey.
Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free.
The wretched refuse of your teeming shore, send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me.